It is going down at the Thrift Project here in Philly, where you can enjoy music, food, fashion, and we need to pop out and we need to vote. There's a million ways that you can enact change. So why not do it with a little bit of fun? November 5th is going to be here sooner than you know it. It is important that we're using our voices. Make sure that you head to thethriftproject.co and register. Oh yeah, did you know? This is free. Peace.
Welcome to another. Shut up. Elijah's on the beat mic, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Keepin It a Bean. Keepin It a Bean is a podcast that brings together commentary and culture all over a cup of coffee or tea, water.
Hydrate yourself.
Okay, stay hydrated, y'all. If you're new here, my name is Marquise. Marquise Davon, this American Negro, but please do not ever in your life call me Mark.
I feel like Mark's a white name.
That's what I feel like Mark is gentrified.
Yeah,
it's just like don't call me Mark. That's weird.
Mark just had no substance to it.
Like I just feel like
There's no soul.
like this.
Reminds me of Mark Wahlberg, and we're
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark
a
and the
racist.
Funky Bunch.
Yeah.
Like, how you sound?
Name a Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch song.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nope. You kind of ate that.
Fever Dream.
But if you are returning to this here podcast,
First Mark on Google search is Mark Zuckerberg. Okay.
White guy.
White
See,
guy.
You got Mark Wahlberg, Mark Cuban,
when you get somebody
I fuck
of
with
color.
Mark Cuban. He's white, but I fuck with Mark Cuban.
Mark Williams, a basketball player.
You forgot Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain?
No. No, it says Mark Twain.
Thank you for
It
that
says
correction.
Mark Twain.
Mark
Are you-
Twain.
Then there's a Mark Lee.
Is he missing that?
I don't know.
I'm
I can't tell.
serious.
You said black, right?
Black.
Oh, you said
Yes,
black?
Black.
Oh, you
Yes.
said black.
Oh,
I didn't
shit.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Straight
I
up
thought you
naming every Asian
I
person.
thought you said not white.
I said no. Oh, I did. So I did say I said a person of color. That's what
Oh,
I said.
okay.
I did say that. I did say that.
No.
Nope.
Not even.
We going down a rabbit hole.
And we
already.
did.
Off the gate.
You already know. But if you are returning to this here podcast, hello to niggas and niggas only. You already know what it is. If you want to support this here podcast, you can do it of one of two ways. So you can do so monetary, or you can do it both ways if you want. Okay, meet in the middle, dance all night, right? You can do it two ways. But the first way is from a monetary standpoint, so you can do so by going to patreon.com/Marquise Davon. There you'll get access to the episodes a week early and unedited. So if you want to experience that, awesome. No intro, no outro, no opening clip, no nothing. Just raw dog in the episode.
Holy
You can do
shit.
it.
Raw dog in the
The episode is crazy.
All right, here we go.
Started off strong. No lube. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
With the fist.
Is that tea or is it Mama Juana? Dominican power.
Welcome to the show.
God damn.
You can go to patreon.com/Marquise Davon. You can donate as little as $2, which is $24 a month. Honestly, that's less than some of y'all Planet Fitness bill that y'all not even paying for, because some of y'all ain't using it. So y'all might as well put it somewhere to use, okay? So that's also one way you can do it. But again, you can also do so by recommending me to go to do some workshops, sit on panels, moderate discussions as well. I got a couple paid speaking engagements coming up too, so shout out to y'all. Thank you for hiring your boy. I appreciate y'all. And then you can also do so if you want to have some ad space here too. So if you are a brand who's just like, yo, Marquise, I really align to the stuff that you do, I would love to also be part of this platform. This is a really useful way to do it. This way I can upgrade content, I can be able to pay for some more things and be able to do some more marketing and really elevate this space as well. So please, if you can support me monetarily. But, we headed for a recession if we're not already there already. So we out here. So you can do so non-monetarily. So you can go tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, because I still believe word of mouth is still the most powerful form of marketing. But you can also do so by utilizing the hashtag KIAB on Twitter, Instagram, or going to Keepin It a Bean pod on Instagram and making sure that you are sharing the clips, you are leaving comments, you are engaging, you are sending it to other people as well. That is so important. If you are now looking at these two lovely faces here as well, that means you're watching us on YouTube. So happy Sunday at 10 a.m. whenever you're watching this. But that means that you should like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so this way you can know when all the new episodes are going to be dropping. Some episodes are going to be dropping sporadically too. Like, so we'll have our main stuff on Sundays, but especially with like this election season ramping up, I'm going to be outputting a little bit more content as well. So I'm really excited for that kind of work to happen as well. So please make sure that you are still utilizing the hashtag. Please make sure that you are leaving a rate and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Again, this helps us on the algorithm. It helps us show up on playlists. This is the best way to help podcasters as well. So please, 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 when I say leave a rate, go to the bottom of that podcast screen, scroll all the way down, and you see that 5 stars. Don't be a hater. Hit that 5 and then leave a comment as to why you enjoyed an episode or the show overall. I will make sure to read them on the show aloud. That's super important as well. So
I'm about to go rate this shit right now.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Gosh, I'm trying to tell the people. But you can't do it right now because you got to get ready for your
focus. ADHD break.
No, I know.
Real
Real quick. So that's everything. So welcome to the show, y'all. So obviously, if you're watching, there is another voice here as well. I mean, saw some fun people on the B mic too. Salaah, welcome to the show.
Hey man, I appreciate you.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling real good actually. I'm hydrated. It's a little cold outside.
Yeah.
Winter came in, or the fall coming
fall
in real
breaking
fast.
in.
Don't like that.
What?
But, I'm a summer baby. What? Oh no, sun out. I need sun. I need sun. Sun. No, we don't want sun.
We like the sun, but
Oh,
fall is really where it's at.
nah, it's not. It's not. It's absolutely.
I
not.
too am
I'm sorry.
technically a summer baby.
My birthday's in July.
My birthday's in June.
We need fall.
Mine is the day.
I mean,
before
the world
day
needs
the
fall.
day
Well, yes.
But like, I need sun. I
I'm on
need as
21st.
much sun.
of September. So I like to say I'm a closet fall baby.
Oh, really on the spring? Because when's the first day of summer? Isn't like June 20th? Something like that?
Yeah, it's June
Close
something.
to the yeah.
I'm June 3rd.
Oh, you're technically a spring baby. I'm technically a summer baby who's been cosplaying as a fall baby.
I mean, the reason why I like fall, I'll give you a little bit, is I love to layer.
yes,
I
fashion.
love to layer. I love to.
Can't wait for the fall so I can start putting that shit
Shit
on.
on. You already
that
know what
shit
it is.
on.
Stop
Yeah,
playing with
that's
them.
it, that's
okay?
it. Otherwise, it's cold as shit outside. I'm going inside.
I was so hyped when I woke up and it was 60 degrees this morning. I said, "It's here."
I don't know what to put on and shit. I don't know. This in between weather is.
I love it because it's like, oh, if I walk in the sun, I might just be a little too hot. But if I walk in the shade, now it's a little cold, it's a little chilly. I can wear shorts and hoodies at the same time.
See, that's that. Thank you. That's that white people stuff.
That's kind of crazy.
That is walking around with shorts on and a long.
You know what?
sleeve.
Actually, I have a comment for that as. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah.
Let's go.
So, Salaah, because you are the guest, you get to keep it a bean first. Keeping it a bean is a segment we do. It's like your icebreaker. What do you want to keep it 100 about? Keep it a bean about? You know, your most authentic hot take that you would like.
Ooh.
Because you already started off with this not liking fall. So
I mean, that's
you
a
steamrolling.
That's a warm take.
Oh, interesting. Like fall. It's
y'all
warm
want-
weather, not
y'all,
hot weather.
Y'all want to know my real hot take?
You're a summer person, so might as well.
I don't like collard greens. I think they are vile. I think they are disgusting. I think they are beneath me. Yeah. Come for me.
Beneath you.
Beneath you.
Yeah, get that shit out of here. That's you ain't gonna find a hotter take than that. I promise you. Get those collard greens.
Worse.
No,
Outta
you did
here.
not
Not
just call them
pronounce
collard
collard
greens. No.
I don't know what to do right now.
I sip my warm water.
Mac and cheese. But some people say that. Like, I could do that kind of the collard greens.
Come on, man.
I've never been speechless.
why we like
I'm
collard
kind of
greens? Come
shook
on.
right now. That was crazy.
Black people in the chokehold on some collard greens. Just let it go. Let it go. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. There's other greens out there.
Give him a chance.
There's other green vegetables out there. Let it go. It's gonna be all right.
So what's your green vegetable of choice? What do
Oh,
you
I
eat
love
during
a
the
good. I
holidays?
love a good spinach. I love some
Pot-
green
pot pie,
beans.
yes,
I love some pot pie. Oh no, don't give me no pot pie. Get that shit out of here.
No, I said Popeye. You know, he eats
Oh yeah,
spinach.
Popeye. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Strong to the
Cabbage.
finish.
He don't like the leafy greens.
Spinach is the leafy green. It's the leafy green.
I just feel like it's a little bit more.
Give me some succotash.
What?
Some yes. Give me some. Yeah, I don't keep those them collard greens. Keep that over there.
So y'all got hot takes about my hoodies and shorts, but we talk about this shit.
I'm just saying.
I didn't know anti-blackness was on this show.
Oh,
that was crazy. Succotash. Like, I don't even know what that is.
You fall solstice. Fucking. What is happening?
I actually have no idea anymore.
Keeping it a bean. That shit is let it go. It's got us in the chokehold.
Well, I know the clip I'm sharing.
Yes. Let it go. Keep it off the Thanksgiving menu. Keeping it a bean.
I feel like I don't know you anymore.
Keeping it a bean. Did I lose my black card?
You did not, but that was
Lost my trust.
I've known this man for years.
I'm gonna question everything I'm about to say on this podcast now.
I don't know about your political opinion at this point. I appreciate you sharing your space with me.
I'm standing on business.
You are.
I'm standing on goddamn business.
Turn those down.
Turn those down.
That was crazy. Wow. I was not ready for that.
I told you I'm ready.
I wasn't.
Told you I'm ready.
He said, I will never lie to you. I will not tell a joke, but I will not tell a lie. Whew. Okay. Welcome to the show.
How you come back from that?
I don't know.
How you come
I don't
back
even
from
want to
that?
do mine anymore.
Wait, now you gotta do yours.
No, it's all right.
It's not going.
In my mind, I said, you know what? It's been on my spirit because I'm sick of to keep it a bean. I'm sick of you niggas making fun of me because I eat at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm sick of the shit. Because he said that's some white shit. And they said that's some white shit. And I said, that's the appropriate time to eat dinner. And I said, in this essay, I'm going to let you Negroes know. Eat at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30. It's fine. That's a proper dinner time. Let your food digest. So this way you can sleep well. It doesn't fucking matter what you're going to do in the summer. The sun is out until 8:30, 9 o'clock.
I get off work at 5.
Oh, my gosh. Well, yes, same. But you should be able to, like, you know, eat at a normal, decent time. And so I'm tired of people trying to strip me of my black card because I eat at a regular time. They said you're not eating dinner, you're eating supper. Bitch, it's semantics. You're about to make me mad. So anyways, I am sick of y'all. The ways in which white supremacy has infiltrated the black community to have a bad relationship with food and say that eating later at night is thing. Where do you think the heart attacks and diabetes and the high blood pressure is coming from, y'all?
It's coming from the time.
Don't say no. You don't do the collard greens.
I succotash.
I was trying to flip it
I
back
know
on
you
you.
see. I
I was trying to move
not even
fast.
close.
We back to the succotash.
Golly.
Goddamn.
But yeah, so that's my hot take. I'm sick of y'all trying to get at me for eating dinner at a regular, normal time.
Do you do meal prep because that's early? That's real early.
Yeah, so it depends on what I'm eating. So I'll sometimes just do a salmon and rice on a regular, unless I'm doing something a little bit more extravagant. Then I'll eat closer to 6:30, right? But anything after 7:15, that's just giving me heartburn and indigestion, and I'm stressed out. So me personally, I don't understand how people eat that late at night. Anyways, I be irked by the time because I be hungry. I'm like, y'all don't be hungry after work.
You don't be hungry at 7 after you ate at 5?
No, because snack time's at 8 o'clock.
What do you mean snack time?
You eat tea and have a snack.
Snack time.
Yes. Quite literally.
You guys need to chill.
No. What do you mean? So this is what it is. I'm up at 5:30. I have a cup of coffee. Why are you're laughing too hard, Daniel? I'm actually sick of it. I will not be bullied.
Nigga said, I got a taste for something sweet.
Nigga. What you got?
This is insanity. This is insanity in this room.
I keep some dark chocolate by my bed right before I go to sleep.
Yo. Oh, shit.
Shit, I'm hot as hell.
Oh, wow.
I bet you won't fall now, huh?
God
Well, we
damn.
see how this is going.
This is, yes, holy
Wow. Oh, wow. So the hot takes today are obviously surrounding food. But yes, I be eating I'm 7 o'clock breakfast type situation. And honestly, sometimes sooner if I'm up at 5:30 like I normally end, 12 o'clock lunch, and then 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock dinner. And then when I'm winding down, I'll probably have 3 cookies and tea. before I go to bed.
Sound like grandma.
And like if I'm
I thought I was gonna keep it.
Put the Devon in before.
Y'all making me mad. Oh shit.
Yo, I'm crying. Oh my God. I really tried to hold that.
He said it with so much seriousness. What else am I gonna eat at 7 o'clock?
Yo. Oh.
This nigga lying. He'll literally walk in the house and make a whole tray of chicken nuggets.
No, because I'll do that too. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I want my childish food. I keep pizza rolls and chicken nuggets in my freezer at all times, and I love apple juice.
It's to
All right,
counteract
so
the fact
apple-
that you're 70 years old.
Sorry that I like to wind down from my night.
With some cookies and tea. Some fucking ginger snaps.
No, actually, ginger's actually disgusting. It's the one thing I don't like.
Oh God. I am not ready.
Oh,
Damn, can you use any of this? Oh my God.
this is all going out. Yeah, it's all happening. Like we here now.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. Well, that's Salaah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me get my shit together.
Yo, you're all good. So now that you got to know us a little bit, dog. So Salaah, you are somebody.
We're gonna bring it back.
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna bring
good.
it back.
So Salaah, you are somebody I've known for what has been 5 years. 5 years now. Yeah. So 5 years now. And so Salaah, you are like political strategist. You are an organizer. You are a thinker. You are a father. You are all the things.
Yes.
Right. And I have such like a deep respect for you. And the work that you've done. Salaah is also like my faux campaign manager whenever I decide to step my foot into politics, because he's been saying this for years.
Let's do it. Don't get. I commit you right here on this podcast.
Stop playing right now.
What?
So you're somebody that I've always looked to, like you as somebody that I'm like, all right, cool. This is a great entry point into like politics, but also being able to learn because you are in the space, you know it, and you don't just read about it, you actually experience it, and you're in this work every single day. So one, I appreciate the work that you have done since I've met you, but also just in your span of everything, because you have a deep history. Thank you. Which I'm like so excited for like my listeners to be able to like learn. And so before we get started, tell the audience a little bit more about like who you are and what you do.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm all of the things that you just mentioned. My official title is I am the Pennsylvania organizing director for the Working Families Party. The Working Families Party is a third political party in this country. We started we have foundations that really go all the way back to the anti-slavery movement in the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s.
Right.
But formally started in New York in 1998. And we are in states across the country. We support progressive Democrats that actually want to win and fight for values for working families. That means creating a world that is dismantling sexism, racism, xenophobia, but that's also centered in what it means to be like a true feminist.
Yeah.
Here in Philadelphia, we've been able to elect 2 Working Families Party champions to the city council, pushing out Republicans that actually fight for working families. So these are not Democrats. These are not Republicans. These are third-party candidates that sit on our city council here in Philadelphia. That's Kendra Brooks and Nicholas O'Rourke.
Yep.
Shout out to my family.
Yeah, okay. Come on now.
But I'm the organizing director, leading our political party in various different fronts, from when we organize on issue-based stuff, going to Harrisburg, and working to pass legislation, both local here in Philadelphia and in places like Allentown and the Lehigh Valley and Allegheny County, but also across the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But then also when we endorse candidates and we work on elections, it's helping to get the right people elected. But also keeping the pressure on them once they're in office, because it's not just about winning an election. It's about giving governing power back to the people.
Oh, Doug, I love everything about that. And thank you for like explaining that to our audience as well, because I think that's something like so many people are like, yo, I need like this other space. Like, I don't feel like I fully identify with Democrats. I don't identify with Republicans. I don't know enough around like what are these third party spaces that like, we can exist in. And so like, when did you find yourself, like, did you have that moment of recognition where you're like, yeah, the Democratic Party, like we get it, like we have to exist in this thing. But when was it that moment for you to be like, nah, like there's this third party that makes more sense for me?
You know, I've been honestly rocking with the Working Families Party since about 2019. That was when Kendra and Nicholas both ran in 2019 for city council. Only Kendra won. Nicholas didn't. He came, you know, a few thousand votes short. But I've been rocking with them since. I've known them since when I was doing my podcast. I had them both on my podcast. And
Salah's Corner.
Salah's
Get into
Corner.
it.
Yes, indeed. But, you know, very early on in my organizing career, you know, dating back to 2015, I knew that the Democratic Party wasn't enough. The two-party political system just isn't enough.
Right.
But it's also not enough to me just be like, all right, it ain't enough, so I'm just going to fuck it. I ain't going to pay attention. I ain't going to get involved. I ain't going to do nothing. You know what I mean? And so, like, what does it look like to build a system where there is an opportunity for multiple political parties? We don't exactly have that yet. We have it in a small pocket here in Philadelphia, and we're building it across Pennsylvania and different places across the country, but it's not quite there yet, right? But you know, when I got introduced to the Working Families Party in 2019, it was an opportunity to really see the power of like how we could actually build a local political party that wasn't attached to the establishment, that wasn't beholden to, you know, big money and these big developers that come into these cities like Philadelphia and just spend and influence every fucking thing, right? We're sitting in the fashion district right now, right? And there's this huge fight on building the Sixers arena right here. Why the fuck you gonna put it downtown? I don't know. But like that's a, you know, and it's gonna displace multiple people, multiple businesses, right? And so the Democratic machine is beholden to the developers that are pushing that. What does it look like to actually build a political party that's not beholden to the deepest pocket? And that's when I got introduced to the Working Families Party.
Dog, that's so dope, because I feel like you were one of the first people that I was able to meet that was like, oh, this is somebody who aligns to what I believe in, but also seeing like the Working Families Party, I'm like, oh, okay, now there's like an organizing body of folks that are also dedicated to doing this work. And so like my question to you now is like, with the Working Families Party, how do you kind of reconcile like the reality, or like were you disillusioned by like the speed of how change can happen, right? And so when you are having like this momentum and you're having these people and having to like build up like almost like a critical mass of folks who are just like, oh wait, no, you actually make sense, like you align to what I truly believe in. Like, how has that journey been for you of just like, oh, this is gonna take some time?
Oh man, that's an everyday journey. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, man, fuck this shit, yo. Like, I'm tired.
Valid, yeah.
I need some joy in my life.
Yeah.
I need some rest. I need some just like, I just want to turn on a video game and you know, explore the video game world, because the real world is some bullshit. And so like I that's a daily thing, right? But I think, you know, one, it's a recognition that it over time, it was like, there is no one candidate that's going to align with everything that I want. Our national director has this saying that I've been re-quoting. Shout out to Maurice Mitchell.
Dope dude.
A vote is not a love letter, it's a chess move. And like that really clicked to me, because like, why the fuck we in love with our politicians? Yo, that's weird. I don't know you.
Oh my gosh. No,
like,
seriously.
I don't
like
know you like that.
People are becoming fans of politicians. I'm like, that's not how this works. Like, you have to be accountable to this person. And like that person's accountable to you.
And what we've done it in this way where it's like this like sports team mentality, sports city mentality. It's just like I'm ride or die for my team. I'm ride or die for my person. I don't know you, bro.
Right.
If I walk to you on the street, I might get pushed aside because who this black brother with locks walking up on me? You know what I mean? Selling me some weed or something, right? All the stereotypes that start to come out
with it.
right? And so like that's just weird. And so I try to hold that true, but then I also in the work that I do, because I touch and build like big systems and touch so many people, that also can be a bit overwhelming.
Right.
And so I try to keep a constant refrain of like, if I could just talk to one person, if I could just connect with one person, I ain't trying to change the whole world in one fell swoop because it shouldn't be all on one person. But if I could connect with one, man, I did a damn good job today.
Right.
That's all that matters.
No, that's really dope though, because I think that has been like such a big frustration I think a lot of people are feeling right now during this time, because they're just like, since like 2016, people are just like, yo, like this two-party system does not feel good. This does not make sense to me. But a lot of us, almost compulsory, like we're just like, oh no, we have to just fall in line and this is what it needs to be. And so something I've been thinking around is, as we are trying to build out this progressive movement and really thinking around like how do we support working families, does it look like we don't aim for presidency, but is it like let's actually play those chess moves and say, actually let's get more representatives, let's get more people on a local level, then move them to a state level, and then see what happens to the national kind of space? Like how do you kind of articulate that kind of thing? Because I'm just like, is this the more sensible and is this the, what do they call it, pragmatic way of like achieving this goal? Because we do need to like, the pace of change is not going to be as rapid as we would like, but we understand like this coming generation, they're moving further and further to the left, and they like there's no regard as much for like this establishment that is there. So we're just like, we're in like this weird tension right now that's happening.
Man, that's so much to unpack in what you just said. So one, just the idea on what it means to be progressive. Like if you talk to like establishment, electoral people that work in politics on a day-to-day basis, their identity of what it means to be progressive actually means what it means to be white. They actually think that white people have co-opted what it means to be progressive. And so when you say progressive in certain political circles, they think you're just talking about young white voters, which is, it's actually fucking wild.
Wrong.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so wrong. It's
Right.
it's like completely wrong. Like what it really means to be progressive is actually very deeply rooted in Black civil rights movement.
Yeah.
And they know that, but that narrative has been co-opted. And so a lot of the work sometimes about what it means to be a Black progressive means to be reclaiming the narrative. It means to be reclaiming what it means to be progressive, what it means to have a guaranteed income for families, what it means to have a quality and affordable place to live, what it means to have education that is accessible and not like for the the super wealthy, and not, I don't mean just like higher education, I mean like kindergarten, that's available, accessible, and free to everybody, right? Like that's very deeply rooted in what it means to be a Black progressive. But the new narrative is like, well, that's white progressives, right? And so there's that piece of it, and then the other is there's this like big push to just like focus on like what is the next election. So how do we gain like local power? But the real question is like, how are we in relationship with each other? Right? Like how are you just in relationship with the nigga next door, the lady down the street who sweeps the corner, right? Because more than often in Philadelphia, they ain't voters. More than often, they care about something. They care about the fact that there's cars going down their block. They always run a stop sign. They want to make it a play street, but they don't have the same access and they don't know how to navigate the system. But they're also not a voter, right? They're not voting in every single election. In Philly, there's an election every 6 months. What we tend to skip is just go and tell that person vote, instead of like, nah, I'm not, like, what you care about? Let's sit down and have a conversation and be in relationship with you first before I can convince you to do anything. And you're supposed to do this. Your ancestors fought for that. Nah, I just care about the speed bump. Well, let me show you how you navigate the system and get that. And then let me show you the people in power that's controlling that, so you can understand the power and the importance of your vote. Not just go vote.
I love that.
So then how would you arm those same people with the language when, I think we hear the narrative that, and like I'm guilty of it too, all the work I put in as, your elder to be able to vote, and then those same people also being jaded around a two-party system and hearing those same narratives around like, oh, well, a vote for, like we've heard all the time, a vote for third party is a wasted vote, specifically when we're thinking like on a national election level. What would be the language that you would share with them to understand that there are people that might be more aligned with your interests or your values?
I get it. I got a lot of anger sometimes at the older generation. I have a lot of anger, but also I just want to really have a lot of grace for Black people.
Yeah.
And sometimes that anger really is rooted in like you're just supposed to shut up and do what you're told, and like that's how we got here. That's why we are still fighting for like our just like bare minimum rights and shit, bare minimum access to like healthcare and education funding, and like not to be arrested when I go outside and shit, right? Like I'm still fighting for those things. I'm fighting to not be like stop and frisk, but like you're just telling me to shut up and do what I'm told. So I have a lot of anger to like our older generation, but also grace because like the system is designed to make us feel oppressed. It's designed to distract us. It's designed to not allow us to see the nuance between what I just talked about in our local city council race was supporting third-party candidates. But at a national level, it is not. It is a waste of vote. Yeah. It actually very much is a waste of vote. Yeah. Because
it's symbolic for anything. It makes me feel better, but like it doesn't change.
But it doesn't come with material power. And what we're talking about is winning elections that actually gives governing power, right? How are you winning an election so you can pass a specific law that you want passed? If you ain't thinking in that type of way, then we really are wasting our votes, right? And so that's the way we should be thinking, right? On a federal level, right? How are we voting for candidates, supporting candidates, also knocking doors and sometimes working for candidates, right? Because, I really love to tell Black people, go find that job on that campaign. Don't always just volunteer. Volunteer if you have the capacity, financial or time, but go get a job because we pay people to knock doors. We pay people to be organizers. We pay people to be campaign managers, comms messengers, run social media, all those types of things. But like find the candidates that you believe in that can actually pass the policy that you want, that actually can pass the policy, right? Not just the policy that you like, but the policy that can actually pass. And that's the people you should get behind. If you believe you can pass it, go for it. If you believe it's a third-party candidate that's running for president that you believe that actually can pass the legislation you want, sure. Right. I fully disagree with you, but go. But don't do it just because on principle. Yeah. Because principle ain't going to win you shit.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that because it's making me think around like this election right now. Something that I appreciate that the Working Families Party was able to articulate for me in a particular kind of way is like frame this current election as like, hey, I was like, I'm not particularly excited around Kamala Harris. I'm not always just like this. I think the energy around her got me excited. But I love that the Working Families Party framed it as like, Kamala Harris is still a political necessity. Because if we go with Trump, that's going the opposite direction. And so when you think around it more so like that, one, what are your thoughts around like this current election? And with that framing of like she's a political necessity, how do we take that framework and expand that even further? Because I think that's what you were kind of alluding to with like voting and getting the right people in place. So
I'm actually going to talk about a different election to paint a picture, which is 2008 Obama election, right? I have a lot of critiques of Obama, as everybody should. The second you become a president, you've said this, you're a fucking war criminal. Like the second you become president, the second you put that hand on whatever, religious thing you pick, you become a war criminal. Right. Like that's just a fact, right? But you could go even further around some of Obama's policies. You don't have a resurgence of a lot of the progressive movement that exists today without Obama becoming president in 2008. Right. And so it does present a unique opportunity to build the future that you want to see. Of course, we also saw the backlash, right? Because we saw I think two things happened in that era. I think a lot of folks took their foot off the gas, like we saw racism, which was like fucking crazy. Because like what? Like if anything, it's like more prevalent than ever. And in that, we saw a resurgence of like white folks. Like, nah, we gonna say this shit out loud. Right? The whole rise of like the Tea Party back in 2010, which was this moment which a lot of people didn't pay attention to, was within the Republican Party, they had this infighting starting to take place. And out of that came Donald Trump. Completely out of that came Donald Trump. 2012. Think back, 2012. This motherfucker was he ain't born here. What's his birth certificate?
It's the birtherism.
All of that came out of Obama. Becoming president, right? I fully believe that the foot was taken off the gas a little bit. But you had the foundations of what we have now, which is the progressive movement. Right. You have the foundations of a lot of these young progressive candidates that won in local elections. They weren't supported by the Democratic establishment, and so they had to find their own home. I think now we are in this unique moment of like we have an opportunity to build something new with Kamala Harris, but we got to take the lessons we learned from when Obama. We can't take our foot off the gas. We got to apply pressure to her. Let's get her in office, but let's keep applying pressure to get the things that we want. Not sit back and be like, we solved that shit, y'all. We got our first black woman president. Yes, this moment is historic. Yes, it is emotional because it is the first black woman to be president of the United States. It is the most powerful position in the world. That is something to celebrate, and it's historic and it's emotional. At the same time, the next day, right, November 6th,
get back into action.
The work starts, right? Or when she's sworn in on January 20th, the work starts, right? We still don't have access to abortion for families. We still are struggling to fund education here in Pennsylvania and here in Philadelphia, right? And so it ain't just solved after that. We still got to apply the pressure to the powers that be because it's still the most powerful position in the world.
Right. Dog. Because there's a couple things where I'm just like, you're naming so many things that I think are so important too. Because I love that I love the image you painted with Obama and giving that story on how we got to Trump and to where we're getting now. And so how do we negotiate with folks who are just like, well, she just got there. You got to let her breathe. You got to let her breathe. You got to do this, do this, do this. Because in my mind, I'm like, we're not fans of people. They can change the material conditions of my life. Right. And so for me, I'm always ready to just push back. I'm just like, she's still a president. That's an elected official. You need to still like hold them to the fire. So what happens with black folks who are just like, but we don't got to do this out loud. We don't got to do this here. We don't got to do this here. How do we have you had to navigate that space? Because I'm struggling like navigating of just like, I don't want to call you out of your name. And also just demonstrate this frustration, but I'm having trouble kind of articulating like, y'all, yes, we understand like on the other side, it's worse if Trump were to be in office, and there are still very real issues that we are all feeling right now today that we need her to be pushed on, because right now pushing her makes it feel like these are all the progressives and the leftists who are like just being irrational. But in reality, progressives were necessary in 2016. They were necessary in 2020. We're looking at the civil rights movement. We're looking at the black radical tradition. Black progressives have always had like this thought, the people that we reference are greats, all black radical thinkers, right? And so now it makes me think around today of just like, I have like this fear of like, that foot is gonna be taken off the gas because now they're just like, the conditions are met, so now we can just sit back and everything's gonna be great. How do we interact with those people?
So it's also like, it's not just that the conditions were met, it's also, we got to protect this black woman. Yeah. That's what happens real fast, right? We got to protect this black woman. So any form of attack, I got to block.
Yeah, because now I'm fighting racism. I'm no longer fighting policy.
And yeah, white people get real racist when they see black people in power. Like the white people you think you fucked with, like you realize you don't fuck with them, right? Yeah. And so there is a level of like, how do we become, my staff always tells me I say strategic too many times. So if I dropped it a lot on this podcast.
You didn't, so you're good.
But we really do have to be strategic about supporting local elections, following the presidential run, right? And so what is it? What are the next local elections that's coming up, right? All of the things that she ran on and won on, right? If she wins, right?
Yeah.
If she ran on, quality and affordable housing, what it means to actually have like rent stabilization or rent control,
right,
for low income families, right? Those are some of the things that she ran on. All right, let's find a local politician, because she actually can't. She can like support it and like it on a national level, but it really like our district city council person in Philadelphia has full control over the rise of rent in their little district within the entire city. Not the mayor, not the city council at large, that local district seat, right? So what does it mean to support local candidates like that?
Right.
To say Kamala Harris wanted this, she ran on it and won, you need to be supporting this, right?
Right.
Instead of being in a position of protect, we need to be in a position of saying, this is what we want. This is what we deserve. This is what we need to get, which is a very different type of stance of like, I'm going to defend what I have. Right.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we get in these moments, it's like, I got to defend what I have. And usually in politics, when you're in the position of defense, the others, the racists, the white folks, the people who with money, they're on the position of attack. And you constantly have to explain why you're doing this and why you're doing that. And they just like, I want this, I want that. And it's, you at a loss.
Yeah.
You know, you're not in a position to actually say what you want, what you need.
Yeah.
What do we want?
Yeah.
What do we actually want? Right now, if Kamala Harris is elected and is sworn in on January 20th, on January 21st, what the fuck do we want?
Right.
What, like specifically, what policy do we want?
Yeah.
What type of reforms around the criminal justice system do we want?
Right.
What types of funding and local education do we want? What types of infrastructure do we want?
Yeah.
Like,
and do you think people know how to articulate that?
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they don't connect it with their local politician.
Because that's something I was thinking about as you were talking, is like, because I was talking to one of my friends, shout out to Ron. We were talking and I was just like, whose job is it to do the political education? Like those of us who are sitting in this work, and I was like, framed it as my role. I was like, I now became uncomfortable with the phrase, just do the reading.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm just like, oh, well, no. Some people don't actually know how to analyze text. And then I've been doing like a lot of research. I'm working on another episode, and I'm like, if 37% of this country are college educated, that's not an overwhelming majority of people that are college educated, right? If the national average in America's reading level and comprehension levels are only on a 6th grade reading level, some of this feels like heavy level text, right?
Yeah, but people are smarter than that.
No, I agree, right? Because in my mind, I think there's data in the complaints, and so whose job is it to say like, actually, this is who you should be applying pressure to, right? Yeah. And so that's something I've been kind of like working on, is like, now what is my role as an educator in this political education space, or helping families learn how to advocate for themselves, or know like, hey, you're bitching about this thing. This is probably a city commissioner issue. This is actually probably not like your mayor's issue, right? And so like, how do we like build that out? Because what I'm realizing more and more is like, we all point at this proverbial finger at like, this is the system, this is the man, but in reality, you're like, oh, actually, this is a specific person who can do the specific job. Like, is that our job to educate, or is it like, no, actually, like you have to go do this too?
So I go back to what I was, like as an organizer, when I bring on new staff, when I engage with folks, it's all about how you're in relationship with folks.
Yeah.
Right? You can't go and tell somebody something if you ain't in relationship with them.
Right.
Right? And so, and I'm not talking about, we love y'all out there. We love y'all, everybody out in audience land. But like the people that you are actually in,
like my neighbor Darren, Mr. Jim, Miss Sheila that I see down the street.
It's those folks that actually, and it's all of our job to actually be in a relationship, in deep relationship, and actually be moving those folks about like, actually, this is how you get support here. Actually, this is the person who's in charge of this over here. But we can't do that if we look. One of the first things that I started to do after 2020, I've been in politics and in organizing for a long time. Mm-hmm. I had to get the hell off social media. Yeah, that shit is corroding my brain. I'm also like,
as some young people say, brain rot.
It is a truly brain rot. And like, I was like, I'm absorbing the trauma. Mm-hmm. I'm working in the trauma. I'm living in the trauma. But I'm also in my bubble.
Yeah.
Like I'm not in diverse conversations with people who actually disagree with me. I actually love to sit down with people who disagree with me more than people who agree with me, because they're gonna stress test my ideas. They're gonna stress test like
because they will push you to be like, actually, no, you either gonna reinforce or you're gonna help change.
Yeah, you gonna double down on that stupid shit you saying, or you gonna get better, right? Or you're gonna, or at the worst, you're gonna build a bond with that person, and so when it comes time to move them, when it comes time to be supported by them, you've built that strong bond.
Now there's a trust that's
but
there.
It is key. The key there is how we are in relationship with each other.
Right.
That's how we move people, and it is all of our jobs. It is certainly the political parties' jobs.
Yeah.
Not all of them do that. We do that, right? But it's all of our job.
So I think around this question around like political education, I think the other piece is kind of redefining. So like for the average person who's just chilling on my block, right? I think we hear politics and it's easy for people to opt out and say, oh, I don't do politics. I don't do that, right? And there's a disconnect when you say, okay, well, like if you want this on your block, right? Here's how you can make that happen. Here's a person you can communicate with. And so I think like part of it too is just like the language, right? It's community education. You said it's hard. It's literally everyone's job. Everyone is not invested in this concept of politics, but people are invested in their local community, right? Yeah. And so I think, and I'm just curious to hear your thoughts, but around kind of the language when people have already chosen to opt out of this space because it has a stigma assigned to it, it has a stigma assigned to the language. How do we, I guess, then like reshape that, restructure that so that we can now get people actually invested in doing things? Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? If we want people to be invested in local politics, we have to help them understand that you're pushing for these things for your local community, and it's not like everyone, you can't opt out of politics, right? Yeah. It is everything. It's your kids going to school, it's, you know, your the potholes on your block, like it's all of these things. And so what do you say around just like restructuring the language to also make sure people remain invested in those shifts?
Yeah, so right now I have a team of folks that's out like knocking doors and talking to folks in the community about how to get engaged. They're great people. They are fantastic, lovely people. They don't have a lot of experience in politics. I actually prefer that because I always say like I don't want you to unlearn the wrong way to do shit. We build out scripts on actually how to like knock on doors and the right questions to ask, and then we practice this shit. And I curse a lot. Yeah, I'm realizing how often I curse. I'm not your typical like political strategist.
Yeah. No, I didn't set you up best for that either.
I'm like, damn, I'm cursing a lot. Shit,
it's fine. We did it again.
But like, we don't lead with I'm here because I want you to vote for blah 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 blah. It's like, yo, the other thing that I forgot to mention is we're looking at targeting and hiring people that's like, knock your neighborhood. I want you to go, whatever, East motherfucking whatever. I want you to knock your block, right? I want you to knock the doors in your neighborhood. And I want you to introduce you, say, yo, I'm Elijah, I live around the corner. I just wanted to get to know you, see what you care about in the community, what you care about on your block. That fosters a deeper level of conversation. And from there, out of that comes like, oh man, I it's nice to meet you. I know you lived around there. I might have seen you walking through here. Things come up like, I mean, literally one of the things that comes up is what I mentioned earlier, right? Of like, people were always running the stop sign. I need to figure out how to get one of the speed humps, or we need a light on this corner, not this, not that, right? I want to make this a play street, or I used to be the block captain. You talk to the old heads on the block, and they tell you how things used to be, right? That's how you actually move people. And so in organizing world, it's meet people where they are. Sometimes it's actually physically get the fuck up and actually go where they are, but sometimes it's meet people where they are mentally, right? How do you actually get to them in a way that actually connects to the things that they care about? And the only way you get to that is by asking not trying to sell something. I ain't never trying to sell you nothing. I'm just trying to be in relationship with you.
Yeah, which is actually funny because it made me think around 2 weeks ago. I was after the Kamala Harris rally. I went and got some tacos with Andre. Shout out to Andre Caro. Yeah, really dope. But my Uber driver on the way back, he had seen like the signs and stuff, and he was like, "I don't know how I feel about her." Da 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 da. And I was like, "Oh well, why?" Right? And he was like, "Well, at least," and it went back to at least Trump gave us this stimulus package, right? And I'm just like, "Oh, if you only understood, like that was already something that was going to happen regardless, right?" I was like, back in 2008, it happened, right? Yeah. And so like this stuff has already been like enacted, and we understood like Trump just signed his name. I said there is nothing more, nothing less. But it was interesting because he was just like, "Oh, this is interesting," and I was just he was like, "Well, why do you vote?" And I was like, in this particular election, I think about my role as a teacher, and I thought about it like that. I was like, there are things like I personally care about, but I'm like, there are just some shit that just can't happen, right? Like working in higher ed, working in education, there are laws that are being passed that I won't be able to teach the curriculum I want to teach, right? Like that is scary to me. And so like if you're thinking around, I said, oh, and I also mentioned like this Supreme Court is blocking like black people, venture capitalists from funding other black businesses, right? Like that's a precedent that was just made. And so like when you think around this, do you care about entrepreneurship? Do you have kids? Do you have nieces? Do you have nephews? Do you have children that you care about? They are going to be impacted because they also don't have they're not unable to vote right now. Yep. And so like I was like, my vote is actually a space of consideration for like those that are unable to vote and the people that I service every day. And so it framed it differently. He was like, you know what? He was like, I got 2 kids, they're in school, and I get frustrated with some stuff. But I was like, yeah, but that's also like local and national stuff that you need to worry about. And so I was like, think about your vote as a way to like, it's not always going to be about you, but at least this is something you can do to like protect the next person in line, right? Yeah. That may not be able to exercise their right to vote. Even like having a formerly incarcerated parent, like he's still getting his stuff restored, right? And that's something that I've been thinking about a little bit more. So for that 15-minute Uber ride, he was just like, yo, like, thanks for just talking to me and not like cussing me out for not wanting to vote or like making me feel stupid. But that's what it made me think around a couple weeks ago.
But that's what our older generation used to do, right? Oh man, you ain't voting, man. That's what's wrong with this generation. Damn, you just wrote me off and shit. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know, you know what I mean? And so like, you ain't meeting me where I am mentally, right? You ain't meeting me where I need to be able to move me to doing something and showing me in ways that impact me. Right. We gotta unlearn that shit, man. Yeah. But also like. I'm older now, and so like
I'm a seasoned man.
I'm a seasoned person in this shit. I can't blame them no more. I gotta if I ain't doing it, I'm the next generation gonna be complaining about me. And so it really is about meeting people where they are and how we are in a relationship with them. That is how we move people to get more involved, to actually hitting us in a real way and like moving on voting and moving on getting involved and also seeing the difference and nuance between candidates and how we get involved in each election.
That was smooth.
All right.
I like that you write your stuff down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair to, because I remember you guys saying put the pedal down for Kamala. Do you think it's fair to do that, or a little typical to do that for a black woman? And do you think that if you don't do it, she'll be different from Obama?
I mean, they're different people, so they're gonna be different, right? That's also a different political moment, right? I mean, when you like people forget, man, it wasn't like being gay was a big ass deal when Obama first ran, right? Like he was, and even when he was asked about it, he kind of waffled and shit, right? And he really didn't come out for same-sex marriage until after as it got close to the Supreme Court case, and then that became, the law. And so like we are in such a different moment that she's naturally just going to be a different type of candidate. And there is an inclination, I mean, for me at least, to protect black people. Because, fuck that, yo. I'm going to protect black people. That's going to always be my driving force. but it's about how we go about it, right? And understanding that, like, it's also how, like, we have to be aware of how white people will show up in that space. Because I actually think the thing that we should be concerned with, and this is something that I've seen white people do on a regular basis, especially white progressives, is they look at black women as the savior. They idolize them.
Be Mama
in these weird ways. No, truly, and it becomes like martyrdom almost. And like we don't want that, right? We don't want it to be like you're the queen of the movement. Like that's weird. Like that's like people do weird shit, honestly. And so like we got to be cautious of like how white people show up in those spaces. But we also have to continue to hold accountable. We have to continue to put pressure in ways that is offering critique and sometimes sitting at the table and arguing with or against, or boots to the streets and protesting against, right? But protesting in a strategic way that actually builds power, not just get some anger in the street. Like anger don't get us anywhere, and so we have to be mindful how anger shows up in these places, right? I lead this like narrative training that I do often, and I talk about the nuances of how we use emotions as action inhibitors, right? As like that don't move you versus action motivators that actually do move you. And anger is a different form that actually moves people into taking deeper action, into doing stuff deeper. Rage is one that makes us like, it's destructive. It forces you to like things to be broken apart and not in ways that build, right? And so we have to be mindful of how that will show up if she does win over the next 4 years, right? What are the emotions that we're tapping into with people as we do apply that pressure? It can't be rage. It's got to be anger. It's got to be the belief that you can make a difference. It's got to be rooted in hope and all of those things, even in moments where we're telling you fucking don't just say ceasefire, actually put in policy that is about supporting ceasefire. Those types of things.
That's smooth.
Think about this shit all day, man.
Yeah, no, dog.
This is like I'm rooted in this shit because I have, like I said, I've worked in it for a long time, but I'm interested in like what it looks like to build the next generation. Because that's another frustration that I have with some of our elders.
Pass the torch, please.
They held the power for way too fucking long.
Yeah.
And they haven't been willing to pass the torch and pass it on. And so I'm always uniquely trying to identify the next leader that could be my leader one day. Because I'm tired. I don't want to do this shit by myself. I don't want to be the
Exactly.
I'm tired of shit.
Right there.
I want to cut it off. I want to play some video games. I want to sit back and watch some movies. I'm a nerd. Like I want to nerd out sometimes.
No, it's facts. And so, one, I want to say thank you for like engaging in this conversation. Thank y'all for asking those questions as well and rounding out a lot of this conversation. But we talked a lot around the work, the politics, the tensions, the conversations, the thought stuff. Before you get off this platform, and he will be back.
I would love to be back.
Oh, please. It's not gonna be the last one. What are ways that you are indulging in joy right now?
Oh man, so this past Sunday, I ain't do nothing but get out of bed. I went and got food and got back into bed and cut on my PS5. Oh. That's all I did all day.
What'd you play?
So I wanted to pick up some old games, so I hit up Fallout 4, played the little Red Dead 2. I was about to put in Resident Evil Village, but I deleted it, so I had to download it, and it was taking too long, and I was like, man, I'm gonna move on.
Yeah.
I'm always taking new game recommendations.
I haven't played Resident Evil in so long. That used to be my game.
Ghost of Tsushima will always be fire.
Oh, that's my love.
Okay, I just
Ghost of
wanted to make
Tsushima.
sure.
Absolutely. I'm a Star Wars nerd, so I'm always gonna throw on a Star Wars game occasionally.
It's funny, that's low key one of my hot takes. I've never appreciated Star Wars, but I love Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
you're a different. That's just a different type of nerd, though.
Oh,
like you like
that was crazy
because you're like an inch away from dork.
That was crazy. And then everybody else just, but y'all sitting there like this. Day trying.
Damn.
Yeah, just force. Wait, shut up.
You chasing the ring, brother. Calm down.
I mean,
okay,
you sound like a
the
pygmy.
Rings a little too. It gets a little too in the weeds, I think. For
Yeah. It's a long John. I said Tolkien was like
that nigga was tripping.
Because I did it. I watched the extended movies and I did like a Lord of the Rings marathon. It's difficult. Don't ever do it in your life. I don't recommend it. I feel like as an adult, if I go watch Star Wars now, I have a greater appreciation.
Oh,
for
you
it.
absolutely.
Because I would fall asleep. Every Star Wars movie, I treat it like Game of Thrones. I'm knocking out.
It's the Bible.
Yeah.
Star Wars
Star Wars is very rooted in religious like tones and shit. Yeah, very much so.
Okay, maybe we just need a little nerd episode.
And that's a third.
Maybe y'all can
That's
teach
a
me
theater
something.
nerd. You probably
You should
have already
you should-
processed that most movies are.
Biblical references.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. They're
But-
allegories.
Yeah.
Star Wars. I'm about to really get into some nerd shit.
He is.
So I like Star Wars because it's not just about like the typical hero's journey shit.
Yeah.
Are you familiar? You're a theater major, of course you're familiar with the hero's journey. It is like, it's rooted for me. It is rooted in like how much bad can somebody do that before it becomes redeemable. Right. And especially if you're constantly thinking like I'm do about what restorative justice actually looks like in our real world.
Don't worry,
like,
that episode's coming, y'all.
What's redeemable of a
Yeah.
person, right? How much is redeemable? Also, what is evil? Evil is really like what is good and evil. Like it's truly just a perception, right? And so that comes up a lot in Star Wars, at least for me, like how I'm viewing it, and I that's one of the reasons why. I really
Okay, you might have convinced me to go watch these movies, because that's the kind of stuff I like.
None of the new shit.
None of the new shit.
None of the
though.
new
None
shit.
of the
No,
new shit.
yeah,
though.
none of
Don't
the
touch
new
that
No,
shit.
I thought it was like.
No.
Don't you got like 4, 5, 6, and a 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, but then they got 6, 7.
Oh, I don't know those
I'm sorry,
movies.
7, 8, 9. Don't touch those.
Okay, so
Yeah, don't
but
do
is
that
it
shit.
because 4, 5, 6 are the prequels, and then 1, 2, 3 is the
No.
Where they
4, 5,
finally-
4, 5, 6 is the original.
original?
1, 2, 3 is the prequels.
So just watch it in regular order.
No, you should watch it in release order. You should watch it in release order.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. It's
All
you'll
right,
have
that might be my project.
Yes.
Okay, that's gonna be. I will start that in the fall. Yes. Anyways,
I'm here for this journey.
no, thank you for nerding out.
I want text updates. We need to start a group chat.
You know I got so many
Shit,
stories.
right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Because I'm just like, oh man, I got a new journey. Okay, great. Yo, bro, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for spitting all the game that you have. I think it's so important to continue to get people on this platform who, one, are in this work, know more than me, but also you provided so much education for people who may not even know where to start on some things. And so thank you for like indulging in this space. Thank you for educating us on the Working Families Party, but also getting to know you and that shitty ass hot take that you had. However,
I'll never let that down.
It's shitty because collard greens do be giving you the boo boos.
okay, they're your greens, okay? And I was like, oh.
It do be shitty. I'm not shitty.
I'm glad you caught it, but nah, dog. Before we get out of here, are you also? Yeah, you're on social media right now.
I am. The
Ish.
social media exists.
It's a
If you might send me something, I might like it, and then I'm off that John.
Yeah. Where can the people find you?
They can find me
Besides
on,
canvassing.
They can find me on social media at Salah's Corner on everything. They can also follow the Working Families Party at PA Working Families on everything. I also hire people to knock doors,
Yes, he does.
and we start at $21 an hour.
So get into it.
Yeah.
You want to knock some doors, Kavan?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Get the young people. Hello.
Yeah, we all about building community over here. And honestly, like you'd be surprised, our best and most talented political strategists and organizers start knocking doors. They started knocking doors.
Right.
I love to give people an opportunity that traditionally don't fit the vibe or the look or have the accolades or the education background. It's like you rooted in real people and real shit, and like you've been through some trauma and shit. Not that you have to be through trauma, but usually like that it really does root you.
Yeah.
And to being able to connect with people.
Right.
Come on over. I got a home for you.
That's a fact. Dog, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. You already know what it is. Come on
do.
now. We coolin'. So, again, I'm going to leave everything in the description box below. So, please follow the Working Families Party, PA Working Families, follow Salaah, follow this work. I'll also be making sure to get people ready for some of the.
Oh, we got some happy hours coming.
Yeah, the happy hours.
The Black Progressive happy hours. Pull up.
Yes,
Food
yes,
and
yes.
drinks. It's all free.
So I will make sure to leave all of that in the link below as well. I appreciate you coming on, good brother.
Thank you for having me.
You already know what it is. Thank you for coming back. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Make sure to leave a rate and review on the podcast platform wherever you choose to listen to me. And make sure to share. These last couple episodes are so important to make sure that we're engaging in tension, political education, but also like where do we go from here, right? So thanks for keeping the beam with me today. I will see y'all next week. Peace.
Stay away from them collard greens.
He just had to have the last word.
Yeah.
He just had to have the last word.
Make sure you get that succotash.